especially people out there, out in the street drinking beer. When this thing hit, that's it. Everybody said, this was free all.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something you can check up on too. Exactly what month of the, what time of the year, what month of the year the 65 blackout. But I believe it was in November, so it made it kind of easier.
I'll check that out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check that out. But like I said, if you get a chance, you can check my website also. And I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm an old guy now. I forget a lot of things. I'm one of the cops that got arrested. I came out okay in the end. I was set up, and when I say I was set up, I'm not saying you're set up to be by the police department as far as catching a bad guy. I was set up because I made a lot of arrests. I arrested a lot of drug dealers up in Washington Heights. I made a lot of enemies, and I ratted out. I ratted out a corrupt lieutenant in my command. And when I broke the police silence, that's it. He had more friends than I did in the upper echelon, and they came after me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all. That's all in my book.
All right, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, check it out.
Mm-hmm.
But check out if you get a chance. Yeah. Now, when are you supposed to be doing this report?
Well, Professor Napoli, he wants us to have this done by the end of the month.
Okay.
So we have like a few weeks to do it.
Well, if you can't, if anything, just Google Frank Serpico. If you can't get the movie, at least get an idea, his biography, and then Prince of the City, which is Bob Lucy. Matter of fact, Bob Lucy teaches. He's a professor now, assistant professor, if I'm correct, in in Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
But Bob Lucy, the thing with Bob Lucy in Prison of the City, he gave up a lot of the cops and he saved himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie. I think you'll enjoy it. But if you get a chance, rent out Frank Serpico.
All right.
So what exactly are you going to be doing? I mean, with this project.
We want to kind of examine the changes that happened from the before the fiscal crisis to afterwards, then stretching into, and then the effects pretty much stretched all the way into the mid-90s. We want to look at these social changes that happened, and we want to see what really, what changes stuck around from, the post-fiscal crisis time and really still affect us to this day, and how New York was kind of born out of this event of the fiscal crisis.
But you're interested in what the cops were doing at the time, right? I mean,
definitely all different aspects of society, cops to how the crime rate went up and what was going on with the different people of the time. How right. even though it was an economic thing, the people were affected directly by it.
All right. I don't care how good the times are, whether they're good or bad, as far as the economy is. Every 20 years or so, and this can be in any police department, but I'm talking about the NYPD. Every 20 years or so, there's always there's a scandal of corruption, because as the old guys leave or retire, new guys come on the job. And they don't realize what happened a few years ago. They didn't read about it and what can easily happen. They forget about the Frank Serpico. They don't know about the Bob Lucy. They don't know what can happen to them. What happened to other cops who got arrested, indicted, went to jail. How hard, the embarrassment. A new generation comes in, and it's a new ball game, and it's so tempting out there, especially when they come across a lot of money. And the average cop that goes on the NYPD or any police department is honest. But even an honest cop can go wrong if he has financial problem and he gets tempted. And once you take, it's like putting a needle in your arm,
Mm-hmm.
You get addicted to it. But there are those that want to go into police, into law enforcement, especially back then when I wanted to become cops. There were a few that wanted to do it because they wanted to make money, but that's only a few. The average person wanted to go in to protect and serve, to do a good job, and they wanted to be cops. Like myself, I wanted to catch the bad guy. I wanted to protect. I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to get a pension, but I loved the job. But I also worked with cops that didn't think that way. You know, they should have never been police officers. But again, don't get me wrong. Your average police officer is a good, hard-working person. But no matter what the time, I don't care how good the time is, you're still going to have corruption. Whether you're a police officer, I don't care if you're a fireman. Firemen are known to steal. I don't care if you're a teacher, judge, lawyer. There's bad and good in everyone.
I understand.
But I don't know what else to tell you.
All right, so if you think that's all the things that you could cover, then that's fine.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to explain it to you. I mean, if you ask me, you ask me specific things about what I went through as a cop, I can tell you. You know, I told you back in '83, I tried to be a good cop, but I got indicted. I went to a trial, and I came out of it okay, but they put me through the mill. I became a correction officer after I lost my job with the NYPD
because of the indictment.
Yes, because. Do you live in Brooklyn?
Well, I used to for a short period of time. But I go to school in Brooklyn. I go to Brooklyn College.
Okay. Do you know Charlie Joe Hines, the Brooklyn DA?
No, I'm not really familiar with the Brooklyn politics.
You know
I live in Staten Island.
Okay. Okay. Each borough has a district attorney. Yeah. Charlie Joe Hines is the Brooklyn DA, district attorney. Back in my time, 1980, I was indicted in 1983 by a special state. It was a special state prosecutor. They had a special state prosecutor, okay, his name was Thomas Duffy. The first special state prosecutor came after the Knapp Commission during Serpico's time, and that was Maurice Najari. And Maurice Najari was brought in to investigate not just the police department, but he wanted to investigate corrupt judges, lawyers. But the thing was, when he started to investigate, he came close to investigating the governor's brother back in 19... who's the governor's brother? Who was the governor back then? Carey. Carey was the governor. The governor fired Maurice Najari because he was doing, Maurice Najari said, hey, I'm not just going to go after corrupt cops. I'm going to go after anybody I know that's breaking the law. He was fired. Then came the one that indicted me was Thomas Duffy. Thomas Duffy broke every rule as far as to indict me. And now they in my book I write how they indicted me. They indicted me. I was illegally indicted to begin with. I don't want to go into details. They broke the law when they indicted me, and it's only my story. But when I went to a trial later on, I was convicted of assault in the third degree by a jury. The jury made a mistake, and they tried to correct it, but my conviction for assaulting a drug dealer stood. And what helped me out was that Charlie Joe Hines became the new special state prosecutor because apparently Albany found out what was going on with Thomas Duffy. Thomas Duffy was told to step aside. Charlie Joe Hines came in, and he helped me. He dismissed the charges on me. He dismissed my indictment. But even though he said he would testify for me in a departmental trial, I never had my departmental trial. The department kept me from getting... I don't want... It's hard to explain, but I never got a chance to get back on the job, even though Special State Prosecutor Charles Hines came to bat for me. I was able to become... I became a letter carrier. I did that for 3 years. And then I was able to take the exam for New York State Correction Department, and I became a New York State Correction Department working at Sing Sing State Prison at Kentucky. Now, working at Sing Sing was hard for me because once I started as a correction officer, I met inmates that I had locked up as a cop.
Oh, that's tough.
But that again, that's another story. Mm-hmm. That's another story. I was assaulted 3 or 4 times while a correction officer. I had to leave the job anyway before on an injury. I saved an inmate's life, and I almost got stabbed also. And it was time when it was time to quit. I resigned, but I had become a correction officer before I came down to live in Florida. But Charlie Joe Hines is now Brooklyn DA prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
So Charlie Johan is a friend of mine.